Hello everyone, and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are joining us today. It's always fascinating to see how many different places around the world are represented in this session. So you can put in the chat where you're from at the moment. Um, and then we are going to just give a little space for people to join, and then we can start in a few seconds. Okay, thank you. All right, let's officially begin. So my name is Bruno Rodriguez. I'm an admissions officer here at Forward College. I'm originally from Brazil, and I've been working with the education sector for almost 15 years now, mainly focusing on the student recruitment and admissions across South America and Europe. I just wanted to let you know that this webinar will be recorded and we send you by email by the end of the day tomorrow. And we also recommend the questions to be asked after the presentation, as we have this time already planned. So don't worry about it. It's going to be answered at the end of the webinar. And yeah, so today I'm really excited to spend some time with you and introduce you to what makes Forward College a truly different kind of education experience. We can go through here the purpose of the webinar. So let me start with a simple idea. So when most of people think about university, they think about getting a degree. But at Forward College, we see it differently. So we believe university should be a transformational journey, and journey that shapes the way you think, the way you understand the world, and the opportunities you have in the future. So today, I'll walk you through what makes Forward College unique, how our program are structured, and how they prepare students for both academic success and real world impact. We can start with the bachelor's. So we have two academic paths. So one of the first things that makes Forward College stand out is that we offer two different academics pathways. So students, they can choose between a British academic track delivered through partnership with the leading UK universities, or our multidisciplinary programs designed directly by Forward College. Both paths are rigorous, so both are internationally recognized, and both are designed with one goal in mind, so preparing students to navigate the complex chains of today's world. Let's start with the British academic pathway. As you can see here on the slides, this track is delivered through the University of London in collaboration with two world leading institutions, so London School of Economics, LSE, and King's College London. Through these programs, students can pursue degrees in areas such as, you can see, data science, economics, business and management, politics, and psychology. So what makes this particularly powerful is that these institutions consistently rank among the top 50 best universities in the world by QS, for example. So students, they are studying within a truly global academic framework. Here, you can see that how the partnership actually works. And many people ask, how does it works? And many different institutions all together. So it's better to break it down here for you. So, and the answer is it's quite exciting. So students follow a world-class curriculum developed by London School of Economics or King's College London. By the teaching, but the teacher, sorry, the teaching happens here at Forward College in small classes in many faculty members carefully selected and approved by these institutions, so LSE and King's College. At the same time, the exams and the final accreditation come directly from the University of London. So in a way, students really get the best of both worlds. So in the prestige of a global university, combined with the personalized teaching experience of a smaller institution as Forward College. And the other degrees, we have the Open Bachelor's program. So the second pathway is inspired by the American liberal arts module. And the philosophy behind this module is very simple. So at 18 years old, so many students like 17, 18 years old, many of our students, they arrive here still 17 years old, and they're still discovering their interests. So instead of forcing an immediate specialization, the first year allows students to explore different disciplines. So in the second and the third year, they choose the major. These majors includes areas like data science, management, economics, politics, and psychology. And throughout the program, the psychology would be a minor in this case. It would be management and economics, politics, international relations, and data science. And through the program, students are constantly engaging with leadership development and contemporary global challenges. The degrees itself is accredited by the French government and recognized internationally, like the British ones. The only difference here is the where they are from, the country, right? Yeah, and as you can see, because I have a bigger screen in front of me, so the leadership it can be chosen as a minor along with psychology in this case. And then we have the interdisciplinary program. So we have also developed two different interdisciplinary programs. The first is the PPE, the philosophy, politics, and economics. And the second one is the PPLE, the psychology, politics, law, and economics. So these programs bring together multiple disciplines to help students understand how complex systems actually work in the real world. Because if you think about it, today's global challenges, whether political, economical, or social, they can't be solved by just one field of knowledge. So students in this program study across 3 different European countries, gaining both academic depth and international perspective. And that combination prepares them for leadership roles in many different sectors. Again, just to remind you that the questions, if you have any questions, and you're probably going to have some questions along the way as I'm presenting the slides, I'll be answering them at the end of our section. Now, another important aspect of Forward College is how we teach, right? So we strongly believe that education should be interactive and personalized. So our classes are intentionally small. Students receive one-to-one tutoring and progress progress is monitored through regular assessments. Our pedagogy is also very active. We use flipped classrooms. So basically, flipped classrooms mean that you are going to study instead of having the traditional education where you have the class, you go to class, you attend class, and then you have your homework. We flip it. So we have your homework first. We call it the reading sections. So you do your readings before attending class. And when you attend class, you already know about the content, and the teachers, the fellows, as we call them here, they're expecting you to know about the content already. So the class is much more about debating, and it brings much more dynamic to the classes. On top of that, we have the collaborative projects and teamwork to make sure students are not just listening, but actively engaging in the material. And the results are very encouraging. So our students achieve 98.5% pass rate, and many graduate with high honors at the end of the program. Here we have we're going to talk a little bit about the leadership program. And yeah, but education is not only about academic knowledge, so it's also about developing the skills that will shape your career in your life. That's why every student participates in our leadership program, which runs throughout the 3 years of study. So you have the breaking down here. And students develop skills in areas such as entrepreneurship, research, and critical thinking, stress management, resilience, and emotional intelligence. These are the skills that allowed graduates not just to succeed professionally, but also to adapt, lead, and innovate in a ever-changing world that we live in. Here you can see the breakdown of each year, which one applies to another. So social impact and sustainability is the first entrepreneurship project that we have in Lisbon, and then digital entrepreneurship in the second year, and the third year research is usually more towards the who is studying psychology in this case. Here you can see another breakdown of this, the different leadership program, the personal development part of the leadership program. So basically, you have the entrepreneurship projects, and then you have the personal development certificates, as you can see here, the different ones in each year also. And also here you can see a little bit of the different combinations that the students they can do along the way. So they can basically have a bachelor's plus and double bachelor's depending on the degree they decided to start with us. For example, the PP and the PPE and the PPLE degrees, they're already by design bachelor's plus, but all the others degrees, the open bachelor's and the British degrees, you can all combine them with the business leadership certificate. So depending on the combination, you end up with a bachelor's plus or a double bachelor's, and you have different kind of credits that you can graduate from. For example, the bachelor's, you get 180 credits, the bachelor's plus 220, and the double bachelor's 260 credits at the end. So basically, for you to apply to a master's degree later on in Europe, based on the Bologna Agreement, you basically need to graduate with 180 credits at least, right? And this combination brings more credits along the way. Here we have of course, maybe one of the most exciting part of Ford College, which make Ford College unique, which is that during the 3 years of study, students live in 3 European capitals. So Lisbon the first year, the second year is Paris, and the third year is Berlin. And each city offers its own learning center, its own culture, and its own academic environment. So students are not only gaining a degree, they're also gaining 3 different cultural perspectives, building international networks, and developing a truly global mindset, basically. And the experience can be incredibly transformative, as we can see from the pictures. So I will now at this point I could continue describing the 3 cities, but I think it's always much more meaningful to hear from someone that actually has done this experience. So we have our student ambassador with us today, Madalena from Politics International Relations, and she's doing the double bachelor's, and she's currently in the second year in Paris, and she can go through a little bit of the different cities, pictures, and everything that involves the 3 cities in 3 countries academic journey with us. Madalena, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bruno. Hi, everyone. So, can everyone hear me? It's okay.
Yes.
So my name is Madalena. As Bruno said, I'm studying politics and international relations with the double bachelor's, the business and leadership program we just heard about. And I'm from Portugal, currently doing my second year at Ford College, so here in Paris. But I'll take you back to Lisbon year one. So this is actually the view from one of our learning centers. It's in the very center of Lisbon. I don't think you could get much more central than that, saying that as a local. Um, and yeah, we have two campuses in Lisbon. This is the bigger one. It's actually a renovated artistic building, which is quite cool. This is the common area. So you see this big table. You'll see in the campus number two in Lisbon, let's say, there's one as well. So Forward is very adamant about getting people to study together between classes, just before, just after, really making sure that you cross everyone. So I get the question a lot of, if I'm doing this one bachelor, will I meet someone else? You absolutely will. The space is designed for you to do so. So no worries there. You'll cross absolutely everyone. Very nice stairs. You can't see it in the picture, but just to the right of the picture, you can see the river. So quite nice. Lisbon has almost unlimited days of sun, so you'll definitely enjoy that one. This is the meditation room. So if you feel overwhelmed during the day, you just need a quiet space to close your eyes or read or something like this. There's a meditation room in both campuses. This is the table I was talking about. So this is the smaller campus, but there's still this main table that you can get together, do your work with other people. If you're doing politics, you can look over and see math and be grateful for your degree once again. Um, so it's very, very fun. Every campus also has a small kitchen style area. This is the meditation room in the smaller campus. So in the kitchen, you'll also cross people. There's good coffee. This is also the outside area of the smaller campus in Lisbon. Um, More tables. If you like co-working spaces and you tend to gravitate towards that, you will be very satisfied. The co-working space. So this is our space in every sense of the word. So it is a space for students. It is managed by students. It is for working, of course. It's right next to the accommodation. So if you're staying in the student accommodation, you press ground floor on the elevator and you're there. Um, but we also use it for other things. So karaoke, screening movies. Right before the US elections in 2024, we all got together and watched the debates together. MUN conferences. You can do so much in the co-working space, learning cells, meetings. But yeah, it's our space. We also keep a lot of the material there. So wetsuits for surfing in Lisbon, if that's something you're into, paddle boards, and so on. We have birthday celebrations every month. So every month it's someone's birthday. So we'll have a cake and sing happy birthday. This is one of the events in the co-working space. As for the student residence, you will live about 20 minutes away from campus by metro in Lisbon. You can have your own private room, own private bathroom, and then you have the choice whether to share the kitchen with your floor or not. And of course, student life in Lisbon, you can't miss it. So surfing, as I mentioned, there's a lot of outdoor activities. I feel like it's hard to stay inside in Lisbon. And yeah, especially in the first 2 weeks, induction weeks, they're very designed to get you to discover the city, discover the university, discover your fellow students. There's a lot of activities to make sure you end up crossing and talking to everyone. And great way to do this is yoga on the beach, surfing, special tour guides. So yeah, very, very fun. Moving to Paris, year two. This is where I am. This is the Cité Internationale. It's in the south of Paris, but still very much in the central bubble. I counted it the other day. It's 16 minutes to get to the very center. So you're actually very well placed. The campus is 101 years old now, so quite historic. As you can see, the classic forward spaces. It is a campus shared with a lot of students doing their master's and PhD, but there's always the couple rooms that are just for forward students, just reserved for you. You don't have to compete for spaces or anything, but you get to enjoy this very historic place. This is kind of the equivalent of the co-working space you could say from Lisbon. So it's new bar room. There's a coffee machine, couch so you can maybe read a bit more comfortably. Spaces to work together again, very important. But yeah, again, this is our space. And of course, the library. So this is shared with everyone who uses the building. When you're living in Cité, you will have like an access code and you can access a lot of facilities within the campus. The campus is huge. And yeah, this is the very historic library as well. You can see the painting in the back. Um, I personally love going there, and it has very good opening hours, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can also try over, I think it's 60 sports, for a very, very reasonable student membership. So if you're someone who not only is into sports, but actually likes to, not commit to one sport and really try everything, I'll swim on Mondays, but then I'll try tennis on a Tuesday. Um, this will be very exciting, and you can meet people outside of Forward. That's also a question I get a lot. At Cité, you have so many opportunities to do so, not only through sports clubs, because you'll meet the people in your team, um, or in your class, but we also have, for example, diplomatic societies, which I'm a part of. You also meet a lot of people there. So I would definitely encourage you when you're in Paris to try and do as much as possible. This is a half-size Olympic pool, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're into swimming, this is your place. And a lot of people were very, very excited about this. So if you're a swimmer, definitely. Um, Music. There is a choir, so that's cool. An orchestra, multiple music rooms that you can use. And yeah, this is where you can go wild with all your extracurriculars. This is Dutch Damutre. It's one of the student residencies. So in Lisbon, I was speaking about, choice between your private kitchen and not private kitchen. You have the same choice in Paris. You can even choose if you want to share, like you'll always have your private room, but you can choose if you want to share the bathroom, if you want to keep your own bathroom but share the kitchen, or if you want a small studio where you don't share any of it. Um, and you live right on campus. I'm in the most far away dorm and it's 4 minutes walking. I think the shortest you can get is 1 minute. So that's very good for sleeping in. Um, and now that the sun is out, so we can enjoy the grass and so on.
Madalena,
Is it just me? I can't see the next picture.
can you see?
No, I just see white.
Oh, what about now?
Student life in Paris. Um, yeah, I mean I know it's you guys as long as you see the illustrations. Student life in Paris is quite exciting. I think it's a bit of a more serious student life in the sense that there's also a lot more museums that you can check out. If you're under 25 years old and a European citizen, you enter for free in all museums in Paris. So this is definitely the year to go wild. There's a lot of international institutions that we visit. You can, of course, go to the Seine, but that's implied. A lot of parks to go study in. I was studying in a park yesterday for I think 4 hours, so that was very nice. And yeah, extremely historical, lots of things to explore. And finally, Berlin. So Berlin is a lot more professional. So in Lisbon, you have your own campus. It's only shared with Ford students. Second year in Paris, you share parts of the campus with other students, PhD students, master students. And in Berlin, we actually share the campus with startups and actual companies. So you can very much see the transition to going into the real world, going into the professional arena. Every floor at CIC, this is the Learning Center, has a quite reasonably sized kitchen, with a coffee bar and snacks. A great place to relax between lessons. This is another communal space. A lot of students, I don't know if I'm supposed to give the tip, but they like accidentally drop their CV and they end up with a job in one of the startups. So looking forward to that. A cafeteria, they serve lunch every day. From what I've heard, they don't repeat it almost ever, so you'll have a completely new lunch every day. A very exciting schedule. Every Thursday, there is a different networking event on different topics. It could be well-being, I mean AI and finance, of course, but you can have it about everything. The arts industry, anything you can imagine. So you'll have plenty of opportunities to network. The student accommodation, I think Berlin is where you have the most options. A few people choose to live in apartments, but still, Ford has got your back. You can choose between, for us, it's 4 or 5 different dorms, so we're quite spoiled for choice already. Um, but you have your own choice there. And of course, Berlin, it is a European capital. Like, the both Lisbon and Paris. So lots of things to do again. The celebrations continue. I was very, very encouraged to feel that they continued into Paris, the same excitement of always having the birthday celebrations and people coming together. And this doesn't wane out at all. And yeah, lots to explore as well. Quite a few international institutions if you're into politics. And I think the campus is probably the most exciting part of it all. You have also two well-being days per month. So there's yoga classes, sip and paint, meditation classes, anything you can imagine. They run every Thursday, and come back and stretch to techno music, which have you heard anything more Berlin? So yeah, student life, lots to look forward to.
Thank you very much, Madalena, for bringing the experience from a student perspective. That's very important and valuable for this webinar. Thank you very much. Yeah, so after having Berlin as the third, and all about the next step and professional placements and application for master's degrees after the third year in Berlin, as you can see, our campus itself, we share with different startups and companies, so the network starts from there, and the outcome, as we can see here. I would like to quickly look what happens after the graduation. So around 47% of our students, as you can see here, they continue their academic journey and pursue master's programs. The other 53% directly into professional careers, professional placements. And what was particularly impressive is this, that 76% of our graduates, they continue their studies or begin their careers at Europe's top 15 universities and business schools, right? So, which really reflects the strength of both the academic training and the international experience that students gain during their time at Ford College. And you can see here a few of the companies and the institution they've gone to after graduation. We had at the moment already two cohorts graduating from us. The first one in 2024 and the second one in 2025. Here you can see also a little bit of some quotes from the academics and the people involved behind Forward College. And as you can see, the number C9.5 9.5 average rating our interns receive from their companies across 8 criteria. 100% of the recruiters would welcome an intern from Forward College, and the 100% of recruiters would recommend Forward College to their colleagues. Let's talk admissions a little bit here. Of course, if you have any questions later on, I'll be happy to answer those questions to you. And basically, we're only displaying here the international curriculums to have an idea about our requirements. So we have the A levels, the British A levels, and the International Baccalaureate IB. Under the A levels, we have the minimum requirement for ABB and the International Baccalaureate, the 35 out of 45 in this case. Plus, if you haven't studied in 100% in English in your high school, or of course, if you're not from an English speaking country, you have to provide English proficiency. And this could be, from all of the main ones. TOEFL, we have IELTS, we have Cambridge, Pearson, Duolingo English test is another one that we do accept. And then on top of that, those academic requirements, when you apply to us, we ask for you to submit a reflective essay based on your extracurricular activities, which is also very important for us, and we value a lot extracurricular activities. Even we value so much that even if you have, for example, if your grades from your curriculum, from your national diploma, for example, they are slightly below our minimum requirements, depending on your overall profile, like extracurricular activities and reflective essay, you might still be invited to the second stage of our application process, which is the interview assessment. And the interview takes around 30 minutes. You're more than welcome to ask questions about your degree, everything around and about Forward College. And we also are going to ask you some questions, of course, based on your extracurricular activities and your motivations towards your degree, towards the degree that you have chosen. And of course, as I said, it's not displaying here, but we accept basically all the national diplomas in the world. Here you have another breaking down of the application process. So you start your online application directly on our website. And you can, even though we offer British degrees, you don't have to apply directly to via UCAS, for example. You can apply directly to on our website. It's 100%. It's free of charge, so you can just start submitting your application there. First of all, you're going to ask for your transcripts and, as I said, the reflective essay and your extracurricular activities. And after that, in the meantime, while you're evaluating your application, you're also invited to have a student conversation with one of our student ambassadors, like Madalena, for example. Let's say that you are applying to Politics International Relations, which is the degree that Madalena is following up with. So you would be connected with her to talk about this degree specifically, her experience throughout the cities, and her experience about the teaching methodology and everything from a student perspective, which is very important. So a peer-to-peer conversation, basically. And then you have the admissions interview. After the admissions interview, in case you're deemed eligible for this first stage, after your student conversation, you have your admissions interview. And after the admissions interview, within 2 weeks, you should receive an outcome regarding your application. And the admissions committee will send you by email the offer in case you're accepted. And then you have around 2 weeks to make a decision and to enroll with us later on. Here you can see a bit more about the costs, and you have a slightly different cost depending on the degrees that you're going to study. So if you're studying bachelor's plus or double bachelor's, the price increases from single bachelor to double bachelor's. And then you have different prices also based on if you're doing a University of London degree, if you're doing a Forward College degree. And here you can also see a breaking down, or at least like estimative of costs toward housing along the way. Basically, roughly speaking, I would say that the cost for the living costs along those 3 different capitals, on average, including accommodation, transportation, groceries, your mobile plan, altogether on average would be around 14,000 to 14,000 euros per year in Lisbon, 16,000 in Paris, and around 15,000 in Berlin. Of course, it depends on your lifestyle, but that's the average. And also, you live in those cities, in those countries for 10 months, right? Because when you are in your holidays after June, so July, August, you don't necessarily need to be in the country. So it's an estimative for 10 months of living costs. And we also have financial aid. We have scholarships, and we have, under those scholarships, it can go up to 100% scholarship based on our Global Excellence scholarship. So you can get 50%, you can get 100%. And then we also offer loans, which is provided by Forward College itself, 0% interest. So we basically lend you money. You're borrowing money from us, and you pay back in between 5 to 7 years after your graduation with no interest rate. You basically pay exactly what you borrow from us. There's also the possibility of having a combination in this financial aid package. You can get, let's say, 50% scholarship. You can get another 20% loans, and you end up paying only 30% of your tuition fees of that year. And we evaluate those cases based on a financial aid application that you do. You do this financial aid application along the application itself, the admissions application. And in case you're invited to your admissions interview, you start working on that financial aid application with us. You should receive an outcome on the application within 3 weeks after submission of the financial aid application. And we base this on financial need primarily, and then merit. Here we have some important dates that you should be aware. So the PPE and the PPLE programs that we have just released, we're going to have webinars for their own these degrees specifically on March the 17th and March the 24th. On March the 28th, we're going to have the open day in Paris. So we are all more than invited to attend this open day. It's a very good opportunity for you to get to know our facilities, our students, our student ambassadors, our fellows, myself, like the admissions team, to ask questions. You can bring your parents. You're all welcome to attend. So we're going to start at 1 p.m. in Paris on March the 28th, and it goes until 6:30. And then also March the 31st is the end of our third wave of applications. So we teach in very small classes, as you have already seen here. So our spots are very limited for each degree that we teach. That's why we recommend to apply as soon as possible, in order to increase your chances to get your spot with us. And we're already in the third wave of application. We started back in September, October. So it's been a while in terms of application. So if you haven't submitted your application yet, we would recommend for you to do as soon as possible. And here we have a little video to show, and then we can start our Q&A session.
I would describe my experience as transformational, enlightening, and amazing.
My experience at Forward was life-changing, incredible, and scary.
I think what I'll miss the most is the community at Forward. I'll also miss the traveling, because I think I got quite used to it at the end.
I think I will miss all the people and the family that I've made out of all the international friends that have come together.
Since I graduated, I'm now moving to Poland to complete my internship at the Norwegian Embassy in Warsaw.
After this, I will start my new job at a sort of data startup called Zip. I also have master's sort of offers from BI, the Norwegian Business School, CBS in Copenhagen, and TUM in Munich. So I just need to figure out which one I want, and then I'll do my master's after this.
After Forward, now my plan is to continue at my internship, which I started right after my exams ended, actually. I'm doing product management at a carbon analytics and management company in Berlin. And I really like Berlin, so I really wanted to stay there as much as possible.
I am going to London to work at the Great Ormond Street Hospital charity in the philanthropy department in the international fundraising.
After graduation, I'm going to start an internship at the Permanent Mission of Austria to the United Nations in New York.
I would tell future students to remember to try and enjoy as much as possible and really immerse yourself in the experiences that Forward gives you.
I would tell future students to just do it and take every opportunity that Forward gives you, because it really is building you this amazing, incredible future. So just take every opportunity that comes your way.
Don't be afraid. It might be scary at the beginning, but you'll need a more amazing support network. And you'll go through this journey together and are basically never alone. So there's no reason to worry at all.
Great. So let me just stop sharing. Thank you very much. So now we have the open session for you to ask questions, and I can answer them. I can see that we have, people from all over here in this session. Canada, we have US, you have Europe, some countries in Europe, and we have some messages here. Let me have a look. From Japan also. Wow. So yeah, we have a question from Regine May. So how does a degree from the University of London compare to the degree from LSE in employability and academic rigor? So yeah, thank you for the question. So basically, just to explain a little bit more about the relation between these degrees. So we have University of London as the big umbrella in London, the big mother institution, and then below this umbrella you have loads of very prestigious universities in London. So University College London, UCL, LSE, London School of Economics, King's College London, Imperial College, and so on. So that's the relation. So basically you have, so they're all the same, kind of the same institution, being LSE, belonging to the University of London, right? And our degrees, they are when you graduate from us, from Forward College, you have, you have a British degree, exactly like Madeleine is showing there. So you have a British degree awarded by University of London, because LSE belongs to this university, right? And academic directed by London School of Economics. So basically the content that you're going to be taught, the content is the very same content that you would if you're studying at LSE, for example, in London. But the big difference here is the way that the teaching is delivered to you. So which with us, differently from what you would have from a traditional British university, where you have an auditorium with 150 students in a lecture lecturing you, you're going to have 15 students with us, so much more personalized, and the flipped classroom approach, as already explained, on top of the this more dynamic class where students they're much more engaged during their study time. So you don't have just a professor presenting the content to you. It's the other way around. You already know about the content once you're stepping to the classroom, and you're more it's more about debating about the content and interacting and asking questions, and therefore at the end you have also the same connection network with the alumni from this university, so that doesn't change also. And when you go to the job market at the end of your program, you basically have studied the same content, but in a much more personalized way from what you would have if you were studying at LSE in London, for example. So we have another question here from Milenher, which is it now still possible to get 100% financial aid? It is. We still, I mean, in terms of deadlines, we saved those 100% scholarships, for example, to early applications, right? So for the UWC and the Global Excellence Scholarship, to applicants who applied by January the 31st. But if you mean 100% financial aid as a combination between scholarship and loans, that could still be possible to get from us, because remember, we have this combination. It's not only scholarship, but we have loans, and the combination of both could culminate in 100% scholarship as a package at the end. Thank you for the question. We have another question here from Lenka. So Is the leadership program considered as a separately accredited bachelor program or as an additional degree? So yeah, I'm gonna break it down your question. So the answer for this first one is yes and no, because if you're doing the degree like Madalena is doing, for example, she's doing the entire business and leadership program. So all the certificates from that program, which is French by Forward College, right? So at the end, she's getting a French degree in business and leadership on top of her British degree in politics, international relations, right? So that's the double bachelor's. So you do get two different degrees or majors, and from the UK, from a British degree and a French degree. If you decide to do the bachelor's plus, which you just get some certificates from the business and leadership certificates from academically designed by Forward College, you end up with a bachelor's plus. That doesn't mean you have a dual degree, a double degree. Basically, you have your initial degree plus some certificates from business and leadership, from the business and leadership program. And then we have another questions. Would you recommend me to apply via UCAS or your official website? Definitely our website. Actually, you cannot apply to us via UCAS, basically, even though we offer, we are a recognized teaching center from the University of London, but we don't evaluate applications via UCAS, only through our website, right? So you shouldn't apply through UCAS in this case. In the case where I am unable to attend the Open Day in Paris, is it possible to reschedule a visit for another day? Yes, it is possible. On our website, you can go to campus. I can send the link here to you. So you go to campus visit from our website, and then from the campus visit, you can schedule a personal visit to us. So we're gonna, make an arrangement for you to visit us at a suitable time for you. Could be Lisbon, could be Paris, and could be Berlin. And yeah, you can schedule from there, and it's all good. I can send the link here for you. And I would, this is a question to Madalena about her experience living in different countries. So yeah, you can take it away, Madalena, this one.
Of course. Sorry about that. Yeah, living in different countries. I've lived in two so far, not Berlin yet. But I think they're very different cities. I mean, of course, everything ultimately is European, so it's not the broadest difference, but they are quite different cities. From what I've heard from people that moved to Lisbon, because I grew up in Lisbon, so I'm kind of biased there. But from all my friends that moved to Lisbon, they said that it was the easiest transition. And having lived in Paris now, and some of them have already lived or visited Berlin, they all say that that's definitely the city that they would pick to start off. So I would definitely start with the point that I do very much agree with the order that Forward sets the cities out. If I had to pick for myself, I would do first year Lisbon, second Paris, third Berlin. So there's a certain harmony to how you're moving through cities. Paris, I think, is very academic. When you arrive in Paris, you can see the building behind me. That's like the main building where we have class. I'm currently somewhere over there. But it's very, very, I don't know if you know the terminology, like dark academia, where you're just studying a lot. The city itself lends to that. And I think Lisbon in the first year is more get to know university life in general, get to know everyone who's with you in your cohort, get to know Forward and like the different ways that it's not a normal university per se, get to know all of this. So yeah, there's a certain difference that I find very satisfying between cities. And then the way Berlin is set out, it's quite, heading you into professional life. Like in the campus, you're with different companies. It's people that are actually working. There are very few students on campus. Networking events every Thursday, which I find insane how they managed to organize that. But yeah, you're very much an adult, and people, of course, you're treated like an adult all 3 years because you will be, or you are. But in Berlin, yeah, it's like very professional. So I think this is something people don't immediately realize because it's hard to imagine, but the cities kind of accompany you, and it's quite poetic to think back and say, I was young and a first year college student in Lisbon. That's the city I associate to that. In Paris, I was, very much a student, getting into my bachelor's, and that's how I associate the city. And in Berlin, I was a very self-made person. So I think you'll form these associations with the cities that'll be quite memorable. But if you have any more specific questions, maybe you wanted answers about accommodation. I don't know if you want more specific answers, feel free to ask.
Thank you. Thank you, Madalena. Thank you very much. So we have another question here. So would you be willing to repeat, please, what happens the 24th of March? And it's also an open day about PPLE. So it's not an open day. It's a webinar like this one that we're having right now. But this one that we are having, we're talking about Ford College itself, the teaching methodology, the 3 countries and 3 years experience, and the overall information about Ford College. And for this webinar, they're going to be talking specifically about the the PPLE program. So you're going to have academia attending this webinar, and as this is a very brand new, we usually have a student from that program attending the same webinar for you guys also to have a student perspective. But this is a brand new program, the PPE and the PPLE. And therefore we're not going to have a student, but we're going to have the fellows talking about this program and breaking it down, like the outcome after you graduate, the pathways that you can go through, and all about the academic content of the program itself, right? Especially in the first year that's going to start in September 2026 in Lisbon. I'm gonna leave here the link so you can check the next webinars like this one that we're going to have for the next few weeks. And you can also, from this link, you can submit your application to attend, and you receive the information to attend like you did from this webinar, for example. Thank you very much. Yes. So for another question from Ami. So yeah, we have these degree webinars. We have from all of our degrees, all of the degrees that we teach. We have a specific webinar for it. So you can, in the same link that I sent here, you can go. You can click on the link, and then you can check the next webinars that you're gonna have, and then you can based on the degree that you're interested in, you can submit your application to attend to this webinar. No worries, Lenka. Thank you very much for asking questions. We have another question here. Is there going to be a webinar about psychology? Yes, we did. Let me just check here for the I can, on the planned webinars for psychology, we had, I believe we had, I can check that for you when the psychology one will take place and send to you the link specifically. If this one has already been taking place, I can send you the link from the webinar itself. So yeah, please, if you could kindly send an email. I'm gonna put here the email, and I can check that for you. So I can check the date and if it has already been done or held, I can send it to you the link of the webinar. And just send here the email for you to inquiry, and then we can get back to you. Okay. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, we still have less than 5 minutes for more questions. Feel free to ask. I have here another questions on the private chat from Alessandra. She's asking regarding the application in terms of deadlines for applications. So just to make sure that you understand the steps, so the waves that we have in terms of application. We are now, after the third wave of application, almost approaching the end of our waves of application, right? So after these waves, what happens is we basically offer spots available on a first come first serve kind of basis, as we have very limited spots. So that's why we recommend for you to apply as soon as possible. So just think about it. So for example, we have psychology as a degree. We would have in a class 15 to 20 students on average. We have 15 students, sometimes even less, and that's basically how much we recruit per year in that specific degree, maybe a little bit more than that. So that's why, and you know, the way we select. So you submit your application, we evaluate you academically and your extracurricular activities, then we invite you to an admissions interview, and then you have 2 weeks to receive your offer. So this already takes a few weeks for you to do in order to receive an offer from us. So, and as we have very limited spots, that's why I recommend you to submit your application as soon as possible. And it's very the way the application works for us is very straight. It's a very straight way application, I would say. We don't ask for example, recommendation letters. We don't necessarily ask for a personal statement. Basically, in the first stage of application, you just need to submit your transcripts from your high school, and answer, list your extracurricular activities and do a reflective essay. I believe that is up to 3,000 characters that we ask for this specific essay, and that's it. That's all we have to do. Again, we don't charge application fee. That's all we have to do in this first stage. It shouldn't take you more than a few hours to submit your application, and then you can have your answer regarding the outcome within 2 weeks after this first submitted application. So yeah, basically that's how it works. First, you submit your application. After that, it takes 2 weeks for you to receive an outcome. After those 2 weeks, in case you're invited to an admissions interview, after you book your admissions interview and do your admissions interview, it takes another 2 weeks in order to receive an outcome from us. So basically, let's say from start to end, around 4 weeks that the process takes, right? Thank you very much for the question, Alessandra. And yeah, we have another question here, in this case for Madalena, about what was your so far the favorite things about each city that you have studied now, because Madalena has done the first year in Lisbon, and now she's in the second year in Paris. She's not going to be able to answer about Berlin, but you can tell Madalena what was the best experience you have in those two cities. What just for you guys, if you don't know Madalena, she's Portuguese, so she's very familiarized with Lisbon, right? But yeah, what do you like the most in your experience overall in those two first cities?
I'll limit myself to my time at Forward for Lisbon. But in Lisbon, there's a lot to choose from. There's this kind of traditional way that Portuguese people go out, and I thought it was very lovely that not Portuguese Ford students adopted this. I didn't tell them to do this. But there's these like small little kiosks where you can get like a beer or Coca-Cola or something. And they're kind of everywhere. But when the sun goes down, everyone goes out to the kiosks. Usually it's good weather, it's Lisbon. And you just chat and usually go with like no time pressure, where if you want to talk for 3 hours, you talk for 3 hours. And I remember every time people wanted to meet and they didn't want to find this fancy bar or make these plans, we would always meet at the kiosk. There's one right next to the accommodation, like 4-minute walk. It's not the nicest one, but it's the most convenient one. And then there's some more near the learning center. So I like that we have these hubs in the city, and you could almost not plan it and just go there, and there would be some Forward people there. People study there as well, but mostly we're chatting. Um, Can't really pick one though, because we also studied a lot in cafes. So often when we get closer to tests or exams and we do have to study, I really like that the forward spirit is to not cancel plans, but make them study plans. So we'd still go to cafes or rooftops or different things like this and just bring our books. So I think my best memories are all of us collectively trying to see each other, keep in touch, and make the best of exam season because it's always better in a rooftop in Lisbon than in some library. And in Paris, I really like Jardin du Luxembourg, Luxembourg Gardens. You can go there also to read or have a picnic or something. I think it's super nice. And the campus that we're in, it has a really big green lawn, like green garden. And now that it's starting to be nice out, everyone's outside, some people with guitars. I saw this guy spinning plates, so that's fun. But yeah, it's this like as soon as the weather's good, everyone's out in the gardens in Paris and all the free museums. But I'll limit myself to that.
Thank you, Madalena. So yeah, I'm gonna answer the last questions. We have already past 6 p.m. Here from Lisbon, at least where I'm based. So is it possible? This is the question from Milan here. Is it possible to live elsewhere than in the dorms of Forward? It is possible. It's not necessarily recommended because part of the Forward College experience is also living together with your peers. So this is an important part of your bonding phase, especially in Lisbon, with Forward College. But of course, our accommodation, the accommodation that we provide, that is guaranteed once you enroll with us. It's not mandatory for you to book with us, but it is recommended for the experience, right? And the prices are also very competitive, especially in those three countries: Paris, Berlin, and Lisbon. So yeah, I believe we have to wrap it up. And thank you very much, all of you, for attending this webinar. It was a real pleasure to be with you in this an hour, a little bit more than an hour, and answer your questions. And in case you have any other questions, please inquire us by email, by the email I sent here on the chat. And yes, thank you very much. Have a good evening. Thank you, Madalena.
Thank you, everyone. Very nice to meet you. Hope to see you soon in a student conversation.